Hello, pieces of the internet, and welcome to this video where today I will be discussing my 5 best unconventional dirt racing vehicles in Forza Horizon 4. Now, here you'll see we have a Lancia, a Stratos, which is pretty good in the classic rally class, but it's a car that you expect to be used for this kind of event because it's in a rally category. The vehicles I've chosen, they're vehicles that have surprising off-road abilities, but they don't fall into any of the off-road categories in this game. They fall into retro saloons, or hatchbacks, all that kind of stuff. Cars you would perhaps not initially think about, but ones that are surprisingly capable when you build them up properly. Our first car is the Audi S1, which I found had a lot of similarities to the retro rally vehicles, as in we've got all-wheel drive in a platform which isn't excessively heavy and pretty decent handling as well. Now, it's not got the longest of wheelbases and it is quite wide, which means it can at times get a little bouncy, but it's nothing uncontrollable. I mean, you'll see I'm even managing to keep up somewhat with this more powerful BMW, because I am not putting out 360 horsepower here. I've got a lightened rally build with a cage and everything, and it still manages to pull through, even though the power appears a bit weak. So that's really my reason for choosing this. It's by no means my favourite car of the ones I've chosen. It's far more modern than I would like, but I tried a whole bunch and this one just came out well. It's a nicely sorted vehicle for rally racing, and you get a lot of options in how you build this one up as well, because it starts off fairly low in terms of power. You have so many choices. You can even put the turbo rally in if it is your taste to do such a thing, but I decided to go with a standard engine, as I find these cars all perform better with the standard engines as opposed to sticking a turbo rally in. It's just something by nature. You can use any one of these with the standard engines and they will work. That goes for this, that goes for the ones you will see coming up. So, our next car is the Golf R32, the Mark IV version of the Golf this. And my reason of choosing it is I don't like modern cars, but more than that, the fact that this has the VR6 engine being very much more adaptable than the turbocharged 4-cylinders that came in the Golf Rs we've got in the game, or the Scirocco R in that case as well. It's just, you can supercharge this, you can turbo it, you can leave it naturally aspirated. It's really your choice how you build the engine, and you have enough performance to spare from the engine's starting point that you have space to do whatever you want to do with it. As I say, I've got this naturally aspirated to maximise the cornering abilities, but it might not be what you want to do, and you have enough space to do whatever you want with this car. Granted, I don't think you would want to go and add loads of weight to it, because it probably wouldn't handle all that well then. Still, this is quite a capable vehicle when you need it to be, and surprisingly so. I just find this is maybe not related to a rally car in any way like the Audi you've just seen. However, it's in its own way a good rally car for its own set of reasons. I believe the biggest engine of any car we've got today is this VR6, and you can make it bigger, well in excess of 3 litres, so this is not a small engine car, even though it is just a Golf. I mean, there's not much more to say. You'll see it's putting up a fight on this particular race, and this build wasn't the latest. It could probably do with a bit of rear downforce, which it hasn't got if you look at the wing. So that's something I adjusted later after recording this clip. But I think I've said all I can, so without further ado, I'll move on to the next vehicle. Here we have the Audi RS2 Quattro, and well, this is even older than the Golf actually, but my reason for choosing it is that it did somewhat resemble the Quattro while not actually being a rally car. It's just a retro saloon. Despite being an estate, it's in the retro saloons category, so that's how it is. Anyway, it goes off-road like I would expect an actual Audi Quattro to go off-road. I mean, because that's what it's fundamentally related to. It may share a windscreen, I don't know, they may have changed it by that point. But the Audi Sport Quattro, I think, did take the windscreen from the base car of the Audi 80. Just an older version of it, because that's a 1983, this is a 1995. This is upgraded to about 400 horsepower, and that is making this, as you would say, a powerful vehicle. I'm not the only RS2 racing here. Amazingly, someone else has had my brilliant idea, and they've also got an RS2. It's a good vehicle to drive though, because I find it's very stable. It does really feel like a rally car, and as you say, 5-cylinder engine here, much like the Audi Quattro. It revs just past 8,000 RPM, so this is not a low revving engine, especially for a turbo. And we don't really have anything more to it. It just does the job and grips, and even if it's not the quickest here, that's probably more likely to do with my build and my driving than the car itself. These are capable machines when you use them correctly. So, best said like that, it can fight, and this car is worth a try, definitely, given that it could take you far. Although I believe it's less engine than the Golf R32 in terms of size, that's for sure. Our next car is the Lancia Delta, Alfa Romeo 155 Q4, which does share a lot with the Lancia Delta, and it's one of those cars that really makes you think. You know, you could build this up as a rally car. The game doesn't categorise it as a rally car by any means. Again, much like the RS2, this is a retro saloon by their standards, but I could see it being just as much of a rally car. It was used in touring car races, but not rally races. Although it does have a platform that is good enough for rally races. Plenty of suspension travel, much like the RS2 had, and really good cornering ability, plenty of speed. Although the power on this isn't that impressive, it makes up for it with just speed that you wouldn't quite expect. Still, it's not a slow car, this, and it's nice to drive, as you would perhaps expect. I would say it even handles better than the Alfa Romeo. No, this is the Alfa Romeo. It handles better than the Lancia Delta. It's hard to separate them. The fact is, this is basically a saloon Lancia Delta in the way that that's a hatch, because it really does go and corner as you would expect a retro rally car to. I mean, the only thing that's different from this and a lot of the retro rally cars is that this has not got the same kind of low slung profile they have. It looks a bit taller and stubbier, but it still gets its way around the corner without tipping over. And isn't that what you want from a car? I don't believe you need a full roll cage to get around the corners, because it's quite stiff in terms of body shell, but I've got a full roll cage anyway, as I felt it would work out better on the build. Our final vehicle is the Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX, which I have chosen because it's basically an Evo. There's not really hiding the fact we don't get an early Lancer Evo in this game, so why not make one with the next closest car we do have, which is the Eclipse GSX. It's got the lower horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder. I believe the same one used in a lot of later Evos, but just ultimately not in the same state of tune, which is useful when you're building these cars up for A-Class. You don't want engines that are too capable, so to have one that's less capable, it gives you more choice on how you build the engine, what parts you choose, whether you decide to save weight or just go raw power. It's always nice to have that choice. Either way, we have still got 255 tyres rear and front, and same as the Alfa Romeo, so it doesn't struggle to put the power down. We have got decent grip, pretty good speed actually. It was maybe not the easiest car to balance, but once you got this car balanced out over the bumps, it really can float, and that's always something you want in a rally car. But as I say, it's basically a Lancer Evo, so it would be good. The only thing about these cars, no one really sees them as Lancer Evos because they've always seen them in Fast and Furious and such, and just assume they're street cars, but they have potential as rally cars due to the nature of the platform, due to how much they share with the Lancia Evo, in the same way that the Lancia Delta shares a lot with the Alfa Romeo 155 Q4. I mean, this, sure, it's a coupe and it's not got as many doors as the Lancer, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a drastically different platform. It just means that it's a different shape and perhaps size of vehicle to do the same thing. The low curb weight is very useful though, and you can easily achieve very good performance once you got it set up right. Like you see I am here.